right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with game number 1 between Fnatic MSI KawaiiRice and QXG Zelniq. Now, both of these players I've known for quite a long time, since the beta. KawaiiRice actually even longer Wombat, but Zelniq is one of those players that, you know, he doesn't really follow a lot of... He does follow a lot of trends, but at the same time, I've seen some really wacky stuff coming out from him.
Yeah, and I mean, I always like to point out guys who play like that in tournaments because they can act as spoilers. They can come out of nowhere and start knocking off guys that you've seen for a long time. But I got to say, KawaiiRice has been playing an extremely solid Terran game lately. His TVTs maybe a little wobbly at times, but TVZ, he's been looking pretty rock solid. He's got really good macro. He recently just did a great job in the Alienware Arena. I always got to shout that out because I do the casting for it. So, you know, it's always a pleasure to see him play. I feel like Zelniq maybe got his work cut out a little bit for him, but he did just pick up some really nice guys to practice with over at QXG.
Yeah, definitely. And I do have to say, I think KawaiiRice is the favorite one going in here. He has consistently placed, you know, just outside of that, like, top 16 area for MLG every single time, it feels like. He's always getting to the championship brackets and then, you know, being knocked out first round. It's such a shame. But KawaiiRice, I know he's such a great player. I don't know, he just hasn't been able to put all of his matchups together at the same time, which is such a shame. But we're over here on Artifice. I should say in the top right-hand position we have as the yellow Zerg QXG Zelniq. Bottom left-hand corner as the orange Terran. We have Fnatic MSI KawaiiRice. A little bit about Artifice. Since they're in cross positions and there's just so much room, you can see the spacing is very important. The expansions are kind of accessible, but kind of not. It does leave your base a little open. What's going to speak a lot is going to be mobility. Mobility is key, so I most likely am going to see some sort of reactor Hellion expand, I would assume.
Yeah, especially one of the things that I noticed too lately from KawaiiRice, he really loved the Reaper expand for like forever there. He was just like, that was pretty much what he did pretty much every matchup. Lately he started mixing it up a lot more, and I've really been digging that. It's expanded his game a little bit. I've seen him start to go 1-1-1 a little bit, some reactor Hellions against Zerg, but he's got good range as a Terran player. I'm really excited to see what he brings out here against Zelniq, especially on Artifice. These cross positions, man, there's a long run, but that not really super wide open natural, but it's wide enough to get some Hellions in there. Good. Excited to see what he'll be able to do there.
Yeah, well, Hellions are normally used for map control and guaranteeing that your opponent stays on 2 base. If you mass up enough Hellions, it just says, hey, you can never take a 3rd base until you get something like Mutas or like Roaches. You can't rely on Zergling Baneling, which is just such a powerful way if your opponent doesn't go Hellions. A powerful way to take your 3rd. A lot of times we see something like medevac, fast medevac play be directly countered by just Zergling Baneling and taking an expansion, going the macro route, taking that economic advantage. But Hellions, that's why I think Hellions are just so popular this day and age. Getting those reactor Hellions out fast, getting that command center, it just makes total sense. We'll see, KawaiiRice has been known to get a 3rd command center afterwards. Just sometimes, not all the times, but if he knows his opponent isn't doing a Roach Zergling Baneling all in, he will do something like a very, very aggressive economic style, get that fast 3rd command center before putting down any production facilities.
Yeah, and KawaiiRice on 3 base, I mean, that's just a scary thought for me. The guy is so solid all around in his play that, you know, letting him get that sort of macro game going could be very, very dangerous for Zelniq.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely something to be scared about. Zelniq, on the other hand, again, I haven't played him in a very long time. I haven't actually casted his games in a while. The last game I think we played was on Scrap Station, which just tells you how dated that game was. But you know, I'm looking forward to how Zelniq has developed so far. He has put down 2 spine crawlers in response to those very fast Hellions. I'm not sure about his style, honestly. We do see a very natural style, though. Getting the lair off of just 1 gas, single gas, no evolution chambers just yet. So I'm most likely going to expect, yep, there's the quad gas coming out here. And we'll probably see, oh, some Hellions are just burning a couple of these drones. Looks like 4 drones will die right off the bat. And KawaiiRice doesn't look like he's done. Will he get one more? No, he will not. But as I said, Zelniq just getting up to the 4 gas, most likely going for mute attack.
Yeah, 6 workers killed over the course of that. And let's grab one earlier. I think it was Zergling that died over there on the other side. So, yeah. I mean, just not great value for money, but pretty good considering that Zelniq had that completely blocked off. I mean, when you see a guy go as safe as Zelniq tried to go here, it's kind of rare that they get that much damage done. But KawaiiRice, you know, probably feeling pretty good. He's probably got Zelniq a little bit scared there. You can see that the queen, rather than that third queen, is going to sit there on the ramp and make sure that nothing gets going. That's going to slow down his creep spread just a little bit, and that's probably something that KawaiiRice can be a little bit happy about.
Yeah, stopping the creep also enables you to have a lot of timing attacks against that third base. You don't want, you know, creep to be spread because all of a sudden that Zergling force gets so much more powerful. Now, we see an infestation pit out of Zelniq, and this is kind of interesting. I'm not necessarily sure why we're seeing this, and here I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. We're in cross position. Infestors are mainly used for you know, those big mounts of Marines clumped up together. That's where it's best. Well, the most you're going to see from cross position isn't going to be some sort of huge push, because in my opinion, for KawaiiRice to push off a 2 base, it would be kind of silly. Now, it doesn't mean that it's completely gone and out of the picture, but just think, it's so much more distance you have to move across the map. I just feel like it's inefficient. Therefore, going something like Infestors, you're only, or most likely, going to be going up against some sort of harass type of thing, or minor pushes, not major pushes, just, you know, little pokes here and there. So getting these Infestor count out this early, I feel like it's very susceptible to a lot of mobility tricks, and it might actually come out to bite him in the butt a little bit later on when KawaiiRice gets these medevacs out and starts just circling around his opponent.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, we've seen guys like Stefano, and I mean, Destiny and Cats certainly are known for Infestor heavy play, but Stefano's been doing pretty well lately with Ling Infestor play pretty much across the board, being aggressive with it. Maybe Zelniq trying to think about doing something like that here, but I mean, that requires a lot of execution to get done properly at a very high level, and KawaiiRice is a very patient guy with monstrous macro, so it's really, I mean, the onus is going to be on Zelniq here to make sure that he never gets those Infestors out of position, because if he does once, that could be the game for him very quickly. Now,
KawaiiRice is making his way across the map. This is what I'm talking about. He's just doing it with a couple of units, not a huge push. It's just for harassing purposes. These 6 Infestors, I don't know what these 6 Infestors are doing, man. But they are waddling across the entire map. This is not good. Honestly, he needs to take control of those Zelniq towers. Now his third is under fire. This third is going to go down if KawaiiRice moves over to attack it. But thankfully for Zelniq, KawaiiRice is not going to do that just yet. Now finally moving over here. Is he going to target down this hatchery? Yes, he is. The stim goes down, and those Infestors are kind of far away. Now finally the Infestors getting over here. They will be able to fungal growth this entire army down, but not before taking out the hatchery. That hatchery pickoff was such a big win for KawaiiRice. Now KawaiiRice should just pick up out of here and retain as much as he can.
Yeah, especially those medevacs. I mean, you can sort of see just kind of casually tossing away the rest of the Marines, but I'd really love to see him get those medevacs out there. But he did pick off an Infestor as they were waddling away, so Zelniq kind of ignoring the fact that he has a lot of energy, possibly just not wanting to spend it on that number of Marines. But man, that was not a good trade for him. It looked really good, but he only got about half the Marines and lost an Infestor and a hatchery in the process. Mining completely shut down over there, but luckily he didn't lose any of the drones that were being transferred over.
Oh,
and
no.
Looks like he's going to pick off at least, no, he gets 2 Infestors in that. Not a good trade for him at all. He's not even going to fungal the medevacs. Maybe he'll catch him.
He could if he wanted to, and there's a lot of energy in those, but no, he's not going to. That's a mistake from Zelniq, in my opinion. Zelniq has taken the 3 o'clock expansion, though, and the 12 o'clock at the same time, so he's really looking to up his economy. He has double upgrades, almost finished 1-1 for ground, along with the Hive and Adrenal Glands. Adrenal Glands is being upgraded currently. But this is what I'm talking about. KawaiiRice, what does he do? He just sits back. He doesn't even care. Oh, no, more Infestors will be picked off here. And, An additional 2 infestors die.
That's exactly what I was talking about a few minutes ago. You have got to watch that infestor positioning. Stefano's, I mean, a large part of his success is he's not stingy with the energy. He's able to make sure he gets those infestors in good, safe positions, and Zelniq's just not executing on those crucial bits. Those are very expensive units to be given away.
Yes.
It takes a long time to get that energy up as well, even with pathogen glands. You know, they pop with a fungal, but, you know, you want to be able to fungal comfortably, and then toss out some infested Terran just to add a little DPS in there as well.
Precisely.
You can't be giving them away like that.
Yeah, and Zelniq losing those, you know, I can't even it just affects him so much because he has to remake infestors. And when you remake infestors, you think, what is the opportunity cost? And that can be something big, like upgrades, like critical units, more, you know, tankier units. Maybe it'd be Ultralisks, maybe it'd be Broodlords even. The more important units, it's just like mind-boggling how he allows that to happen. Zelniq, you know, not making the best showing right here in the first game. I really hope he steps up going into this mid-game where he has kind of situated. He's taken the 3rd base, which is great. It only has 1 gas. That's the excuse me, that's not the expansion I was thinking about. I was thinking about that one. But we do see a drop coming over here behind the main. Ultralisk Cavern just popped out. Is he going to target that down? Yes, he moves over there. Meanwhile, there's another small group of units, but there's a lot of medevacs in this group, and the infestors are nowhere to be found. They're actually moving all the way over. The Ultralisk Cavern has been picked off. Meanwhile, the Marines and Marauders have been cleaned up there. Now, finally, the Marines will start up on this 3 o'clock expansion.
Yeah, and up to 12 o'clockers actually had loaded up drop that hasn't moved just yet. So, I mean, KawaiiRice still has more moves he can make if he continues pulling his opponent out of position. But Zelniq asleep at the wheel entirely here. He is just making no real effort to do anything to these drops. He's finally getting some infestors over here. And KawaiiRice not even moving the 6 medevacs out of the way.
Oh my god. No. Oh my god. Every infestor dies. And
wow.
Zelniq even says it. Oh my god.
No fungals on any of the medevacs at all. I was like, look, well, at least he's going to get all 6 of these medevacs for free, but he gets nothing, and every single infestor explodes. I have no idea what happened there.
Zelniq is just blundering time and time again. This is just Marine Marauder, and technically infestors are they're very strong against this army composition when you go Zergling Infestor. But, you know, the obvious counter, it's before you get that count up, you're able to just spread your opponent thin. Infestors, obviously, they cost a lot of energy, or getting that fungal growth costs a lot of energy continually. So KawaiiRice's stance is just do continual attacks, but they're small, they're tiny. But it doesn't even matter. Zelniq, he's going to fall to just the light pressure from KawaiiRice, losing so many infestors. That was really, really...
Yeah, the fungals didn't even start to go down until fully half of the infestors were gone. I just got to imagine he missed a key or something. I have no real idea what happened to Zelniq there, but you cannot afford that sort of play against a guy like KawaiiRice.
I mean, he just got absolutely rolled. But really not amazing play from KawaiiRice. It was just standard, you know? It was nothing out of the ordinary. He just played his game, and he did light pressure. Again, from even the initial Marines, what were those infestors doing out there? That made no sense to send all those infestors to the bottom middle position. What are you going to do with just a small handful of Zerglings and infestors? Infestors are not good at attacking into a position. They're good at receiving damage, but not so much dropships. That's why you see Muta openings more so than infestor openings. But still, I don't want to harp on this too much, Wombat. Let's just go straight into game number 2 and see if Zelniq can come back into this.